Paulo Costa may not have been able to compete in the co-main event of UFC 294 against Khamzat Chimaev, but he still managed to fight his compatriot on Saturday night. During the earlier hours of the event, a brawl involving Costa, who was in attendance, and several spectators ensued in the stands. The video that went viral on social media depicted an individual leaping from a barricade in an attempt to engage the Brazilian. In response, Costa swiftly retaliated with a punch of his own before security personnel intervened, successfully separating the two parties before things escalated. According to the latest reports, the guy who attacked Costa wasn't an ordinary spectator. He is a controversial Russian MMA fighter, Shara Bullet, famous for pulling a gun on his opponent on a podcast some time ago. The fight broke out because Chimaev flipped Costa off a couple of times.
Say this for me, show this to me, so I mark his face, and next time I come in the hallway, como eu falo corredor? Yes, in the hallway, so I saw him, and I went into him, and when the guy is far from you, he's like violent, brave. But when I came, he just came to talk, but he's trying to refuse again. So I grabbed him and I pulled him, and then some other guys pull, like 3 or 4 guys pull, jumping in the fence. So the security came, and the guy that showed me his finger, he jumped in as well, and I just saw his big forehead, and man, I called mess. I called mess, I called miss that big head. Even if my arm there, I bam in the forehead, straight there. So that's a good lesson for some chains that think just because I'm injured, I cannot you around. I will.
With Costa out of the equation at UFC 294, Khamzat Chimaev faced Kamaru Usman on short notice and beat him by a hard-fought majority decision. With that, he has possibly earned himself a shot at Sean Strickland's middleweight title. Or has he? Strickland had an interesting choice of words for Chimaev's performance. But before we find out what he has to say, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you. At UFC 294, Chimaev put his world-class wrestling skills on display by taking Usman down on multiple occasions, although he struggled to match the former welterweight champion on the feet. Ultimately, he won by a decision. Although a big win on his resume, many believe it wasn't convincing enough for him to earn a title shot. Strickland is one of those people.
The only thing I like about Chimaev is he sells fights. For some reason, people like him or don't like him. I don't know. To me, he's a paycheck. He sells a lot of fights, people pay him to watch, but he hasn't earned it, doesn't deserve it. But here we are. Give it to him. He sells a lot of fights. I'll go fight the man for 5 rounds. But no, he has not earned it. He doesn't deserve it. And getting a decision with a welterweight off a couch is not earn it.
Do you agree with Sean Strickland? Johnny Walker remains confused about the controversial no contest against Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 294. The clash between the two light heavyweight contenders during UFC 294 barely had a chance to get underway before it was halted. The interruption occurred following an illegal knee strike by Ankalaev to a grounded Walker, and ultimately the ringside physician made the call that the Brazilian was not fit to continue. Apparently, the doctor asked Walker where he was, and he answered by saying, quote-unquote, "I'm in the desert," instead of saying Abu Dhabi. The doctor thought he wasn't thinking straight and stopped the fight. Furious at the doctor's decision, Walker had to be restrained by multiple officials as he vented his frustration inside the cage. While there was a brief physical confrontation between Walker and Ankalaev, the situation eventually calmed down, leading to both fighters departing the arena without a conclusive outcome.
Said yes. He said what I was. I don't want to say the wrong question because I know what that was a assignment, like he was doing the test, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say the right answer, so I to say Abu Dhabi, like if Abu Dhabi, I'm no Abu Dhabi. Then I said, I'm on the desert, bro. I'm here, I'm good, I'm in the Middle East,
And he
also, like, I can speak good English, and then the doctor wasn't on his native language, so he probably have a very heavy accent as well. I understand what he wants to say, but I tried to explain him what I was doing the right answer to him, you know? Like, but you know, in the middle of the situation, like maybe the fight for the title shot and everything, you don't know, my mind is on going like 1,000 miles an hour, and I had received a shot at my face, and I was okay to fight, but even on my last fight against Anthony, he said I attacked his family. I have no idea what he's talking about. I attacked my family. What? You attacked my family? Like, what? You know, I didn't understand. Like, the same situation. It's a very complicated situation because you were 1,000 miles an hour. So you're fighting for your life, your career. You know, hopefully get a title shot after, and everything's over. Like, it's very, very disappointing.
Moving on, Shara Magomedov, a fighter who arrived at UFC 294 with significant hype due to his impressive 11-0 record with 10 finishes, lived up to the expectations with a remarkable performance against Bruno Silva at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi on Saturday. Magomedov secured a unanimous decision victory, with all three judges scoring the bout 30-27 in his favor. Nicknamed Shara Bullet, Magomedov showcased a diverse striking game, delivering kicks from various angles while also displaying his ground skills by using elbows to create damage when on his back. However, he did find himself in a disadvantaged position on the ground more than desired. After the fight, Dana White praised Magomedov for his victory, but cautioned him about the need to improve his takedown defense in future bouts.
He's a bad boy. He's tough. His first fight in the UFC. I don't know how he's from Dagestan and has zero takedown defense, but other than that, he looked incredible. Yeah, no, I like the kid. I don't know if he's the future of the sport, but you know, he's definitely got a future here. He's got to work on his takedown defense. I mean, in the UFC, you have to have the full game. Obviously, his kickboxing is nasty, and leg kicks, head kicks, you know, elbows, obviously. But he's got to tighten up that wrestling game, or he'll get beat here very quickly.
In a post-fight press conference following UFC 294, Shara Magomedov revealed his desire to be featured on the upcoming UFC China card scheduled for December. His motivation behind this request stems from the fact that he started his MMA career in China, securing some of his initial victories against Chinese opponents. Do you guys agree with Dana White? Dana White is interested in signing Michael Venom Page. Page's most recent appearance was inside the Bellator cage in March, where he secured a TKO victory over Goiti Yamochi in a mere 26 seconds. The bout marked the end of Page's Bellator contract, making him a free agent. Page's increasing rapport with Dana White has not gone unnoticed, with the fighter even attending the UFC 294 event in Abu Dhabi. According to a report, the UFC has already signed the electrifying British middleweight, and the promotion is hoping to officially announce the signing in the coming days. Dana White was recently asked about Page, and this is what he had to say.
And he's a kid that we're definitely interested in, and he's interested too, so possibly.
Should MVP join the UFC's talent-rich middleweight division, he'd like to fight nobody but the best fighters in the division. He wants to take the Michael Chandler path.
I want top 5, top 10 max. I don't feel like I don't need to prove myself all over again. I don't need to do that. I just want to go in there, and you know, we've seen it in with the likes of Michael Chandler. He went in there, you know, he fought, you know, I think he was top 10 at the time, Dan Hooker. Great first win for him that just sprung him into title contention. That is the route I see myself in. I don't see it in any other way. I don't need a warm-up fight. I don't need that. It's not like I've been out of the game for ages. I'm ready to go now.
How far will Michael Venom Page go in the UFC? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.